markets developed, new trade routes that would avoid the heavy tariffs of the coast would develop from Kadesh Barnea through Hebron, Lachish, Jerusalem, Bethel, Samaria, Shechem, Shiloh, through Galilee to Jezreel, Hazor, and Megiddo. Secondary Canaanite cities would develop in this region. Further economic development would see the creation of a third trade route from Elath, Timnah, Edom, or Seir, Moab, Ammon, and thence to the Aramean states of Damascus and Palmyra. Earlier states, for example, the Philistines and Tyrians in the case of Judah and Samaria for the second route, and Judah and Israel for the third route, tried generally unsuccessfully to control the interior trade. Eventually, the prosperity of this trade would attract more powerful regional neighbors such as ancient Egypt, Assyria, the Babylonians, Persians, ancient Greeks, and Romans, who would control the Canaanites politically, leveling tribute, taxes, and tariffs. Often in such periods, thorough overgrazing would result in a climate collapse and a repeat of the cycle, e.g. PMB, Gasulian, Uruk, and the Bronze Age cycles already mentioned. The fall of later Canaanite civilization occurred with the incorporation of the area into the Greco-Roman world as Lydia province, and after Byzantine times into the Umayyad Caliphate, Western Aramaic, one of the two lingua francas of Canaanite civilization, is still spoken in a number of small Syrian villages, while Phoenician Canaanite disappeared as a spoken language in about 100 circa 100 CE. Common Era, I guess. A separate Akkadian-infused Eastern Aramaic is still spoken by the existing Assyrians or Iraq, Iran, northeast Syria, and southeast Turkey. Tel Kabri contains the remains of a Canaanite city from the Middle Bronze Age, 2000 to 1550 BCE. The city, the most important of the cities in the western Galilee during the period, had a palace at its center. Tel Kabri is the only Canaanite city that can be excavated in its entirety, because after the city was abandoned, no other city was built over its remains. It is notably because the predominant extra Canaanite culture influence is Minoan. Minoan-styled frescoes decorate the palace. And let's see what we got here. So yeah, we are coming to 50 minutes. Now, if you go to Wikipedia, they do have significant figures: rulers of Ugarit, rulers of Tyre, others, characters in the Hebrew Bible, genetic studies, and that's what I'll read here. And after I am done reading here, I'm going to stop. The next part is the Jewish and Christian scriptures, so I will leave that alone and let Tan cover that next week with the Amorites. So I won't touch any of that. But I do want to read this genetic studies because a lot of people have a misunderstanding when it comes to the Canaanites and Semitic speaking people. So this is something that I've noticed here recently that needs to be talked about. Okay. A 2020 genetic analysis conducted by the international team of archaeologists and geneticists found that the Bronze Age Canaanite population descended from earlier local Neolithic populations, together with populations related to the Chalcolithic Zugros Mountains and the Bronze Age Caucasus. According to the researchers, this mixture is probably the result of a continuing migration from the Zagros or Caucasus to the Levant between 2500 to 1000 BCE. The study has also shown that the Canaanite population contributed to most present-day Jewish groups and Levantine Arab-speaking groups. These populations are consistent with having 50% or more of their ancestry from people related to groups who lived in the Bronze Age Levant and Chalcolithic Zagros. These present-day groups also show ancestry that cannot be modeled by the available ancient DNA data, highlighting the importance of additional major genetic effects on the region since the Bronze Age. This is Tan Hai Tran, and it's all yours, Tan.
Alright, hello everybody. I prepared a little presentation for Roger's history live stream, Roger?
Yes.
On the Amorite, and based on what's found in the Bible, more specifically the Old Testament. The Hebrew Bible, in the Old Testament, in the Christian Bible. I prepared a little presentation here that we can go through step by step. So, is everything coming up okay on the live?
Yeah, let me go check. I can check. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, I can go check. I'm pretty sure it is, but I just put it into widescreen. Yeah, it's going good. It's going good.
Alright, so here we go. Let's start the Amorites. Who are they? Who were the Amorites? Okay. For this slides, I've taken a couple of resources from various encyclopedias online. This one from World History, which says they're an ancient Semitic-speaking group of people. They become dominant in the history of Mesopotamia around the second to the first century BC or millennium BC. And they were equated with the people from in the west of Canaan throughout their origin, and they were considered troublesome nomads. So they were nomads who dwelt on the high mountain area, and in Sumerian they were known as the Martu or the Titnum. And you may be also familiar with this since you've talked about the Akkadians before, Roger. They are called the Amuru, or in Egypt, Amar.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, they were mentioned in the book of Amos in the Hebrew Bibles as being tall as cedar, strong as oak. So they were like a race of giants, just like a few others in the old Bibles who were described as a giant race. Like the most famous one was Goliath, who faced David. Deuteronomy chapter 3 described them like this. Verse 11 mentions Og. Og, king of Bashan, was the last remaining survivor of Rephaim. He had a bed of iron and 9 regular cubits long and 4 cubits wide. Okay. Now.
No, that's pretty long.
That's pretty high. So I have in the picture on the right is what the picture I got from the web about what an Amorite warrior would look like. So like there.
Yeah.
They are one of the 7 nations in the land of Canaan who became the enemies of the Israelites. Among them were the 7 enemies of the Israelites were the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Hittites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and the Perizzites.
Man. So the Amorites were the ones that were directly related to David and Goliath. Goliath was an Amorite.
No, I'm not sure if he was. I'm not sure. I don't know. About that. I don't know if Goliath was. But there were a few of them that were giants, right? Okay, so Goliath was one of them, but I don't know if they're the Amalekites were also a race of giants, not mentioned in here, but not sure which one Goliath was. Now, let's go through where they came from.
Okay.
Got these things. Where do they come from? Here we go. Genesis chapter 10 describes them as descendants of Noah's son Shem, Ham, and Japheth, okay, to whom the children were born to Noah after the flood. Okay, so starting, I put quotes in here. Verse 1 mentions that they are descendants of Noah. Verse 6 says the descendants of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan.
All right.
Canaan became the father of Sidon, firstborn, and of Heth. Canaan also became the father of the Jebusites, the Amorites, and the Girgashites. the Hittites, the Archites, and the Sinites. Right? These. So they were all descendants from Noah. Right? So at one point they were all relatives.
It all started from Canaan.
Yep, and they all started from.
Yep.
It's after what do we got? So verse 17 says the Hivites, the Archites, the Shinites, and the Avarites.